Welcome everyone. Today, we're taking a look at part of what we've been building for our next update. Locked and Loaded, releasing September 2nd. And what you're about to see is over a year's worth of work. And in this devlog, we'll focus on animations, loadouts, UI, and gadgets. So let's get right into it. Alright, so most FPS games play animations the exact same way. Same reload, same timing, and it makes the same result no matter what's happening. But in real life, it just doesn't work like that. We asked ourselves a very simple question. What would your body actually feel in that situation? If you're calm, everything is under control. Your breathing is steady and your hands are really stable. But when things go wrong, when you're getting shot at, when you're injured, when you're just simply trying to stay alive, your hands, they start to shake. All of these elements together are here to make you feel the pressure your character is really going through. And that pressure directly affects how you reload. Reloading under pressure is completely different from reloading when you're safe. So we built two entirely different states, calm and stressed. Same weapon, different behavior. And we didn't stop there. Inside of each state, we created multiple variations. Several calm reloads, several stressed reloads, different timings, different movements. So it never feels repetitive. And this philosophy doesn't only apply to magazine reloads. It applies to every single weapon. Take a shotgun. Even something as simple as inserting a shell has multiple calm variations. Under pressure, those same movements become rushed with less precision and less control. The same goes for bolt-action rifles. Loading individual rounds also has multiple calm variations. But again, under stress, your character can struggle with a round or fumble it before loading it. Even operating the bolt itself has several calm variations. Under pressure, your hand can slip on the bolt, you lose your grip, grab it again, and finally chamber the next round. The more stressed you are, the more your weapon will reflect that. The revolver presented us with a very different challenge. Most games handle it the same way. Press reload, dump every round, insert a speed loader, and you're done. One animation, no matter how many rounds you fired. So we decided to do it differently. Every possible reload has its own animation. Fire one shot, you replace one round. Fire three, you replace three. Empty the cylinder, and you're reloading all 8 rounds. Every single sequence has its own timing, its own movements, and its own duration. Because that's how a real revolver works. But it also changes the way you play. Because now for the first time, reloading a revolver isn't the same decision all the time. Replacing one round is much faster than replacing 8. So now, you better think before you reload. Every animation starts with a reference. First, our creative director Leo records the movement in real life. That reference is then sent to Tap Brandon, who then recreates the motion and brings it to life through animation. And finally, the in-game result. This has taken weeks worth of work, sometimes more than a month for one single weapon. And even with all of that, we've added procedural positioning. Your weapon is never held exactly the same way, slightly higher, slightly lower, slightly off center. Every reload feels unique. Since the very beginning of Bodycam, and even before Bodycam existed, we've been obsessed with ragdolls. They've been one of the most advanced systems in the project and one of the most appreciated by the community. But despite everything we had built, we felt something was still missing. So for years, we experimented with different approaches, and most of them failed time and time again. And that's because balancing a body in real time is one of the most difficult challenges in procedural physics. The terrain, the slope, the velocity, the impacts, the damage, and the location of every bullet landing on the player matters. And after years of research and development, we finally found a solution. The stumbling system. A fully procedural self-balancing system with no animations, no scripted sequences, and the character dynamically tries to stay on his feet before collapsing. It only happens in situations where the body could still realistically react, like after non-lethal gunshots, shrapnel impacts, knife wounds, or any trauma severe enough to affect the balance, but not severe enough to instantly incapacitate. Among all the technologies we've developed for Bodycam, this is probably the one we're most proud of. Because in a game filled with complex systems, the hardest thing we ever built was teaching a character how to put one foot in front of the other.
Realism in Bodycam goes beyond animations. It's also about how your body exists inside of the game. In most FPS games, your arms are locked and rigged straight to the camera, so no matter where you look, everything follows. It's like your body just doesn't really exist. So we wanted to create something closer to real life. So we built what we call the true body system. Your body is fully simulated and your camera is no longer driving it. It's just your point of view, so that means you can look anywhere while your character keeps doing the action. And this changes gameplay entirely, because now, if you want to check your magazine, you actually have to look at it. And if you don't, well, you'll simply miss it.
A big part of immersion comes from the fine, small details. So we studied real Bodycam footage based on how the camera moves when you walk, run, or suddenly change direction. We took these ideas and we rebuilt our entire camera system around it so it feels entirely physical. Because in Bodycam, the camera's not just your point of view, it's a real object attached to your character. So when you respawn, your character turns it on, and when you leave, he turns it off. And during gameplay, like heavy impacts, sudden movements, or intense situations, your character can naturally readjust the camera to make sure it keeps recording properly. When a flashbang goes off or an explosion happens nearby, your character instinctively protects his face. And that same exact logic applies to the weapon. Your hands are never completely still, so after firing, your character readjusts his grip. The more unstable the weapon is, the more adjustments happen. And under extreme stress, after long firing sequences, these small adjustments can turn into real hand fatigue. And that same idea extends to your weapon setup, because stability depends on your loadout. And that's where weapon customization comes in. You can now modify almost every single part of your weapon. I'm talking about barrels, stocks, grips, magazines. Some parts unlock others. You want a sight on your AK? You need a rail first, just like in real life. And every part affects how your weapon behaves. A compact weapon is fast, but harder to control. A heavier weapon is slower, but more stable. You can even change how you aim. Use your main sight, or switch to a secondary one on the side. Or aim completely without optics. One of the biggest dilemmas in first-person shooters is how to achieve magnification in weapon optics. These days, almost every game relies on one of two techniques. The first and most common is simply by zooming the player's camera. It's fast and extremely performant, but it's not at all how optics work in the real world. The second one, mostly used in tactical shooters, is a picture-in-picture rendering. The game renders the entire world a second time from the optics point of view. This comes at a massive performance cost that can heavily reduce frame rate, make aiming feel much more rigid, and also cause bad quality optic view. That's why Bodycam originally didn't feature magnified scopes. Like many other studios, we believe that this performance trade-off was simply unavoidable. But Bodycam is built around realism, and we simply couldn't settle for a compromise. So after months of research, experimentation, and optimization, we finally found a solution. We found a way to extend Unreal Engine's rendering pipeline and create a new shading technique that delivers the realism of true picture-in-picture scopes at a massively reduced performance cost and crystal clear quality inside the lens. Combine all of that with the work of our new advanced optic shader, featuring realistic glass, reticle distortions, reflections, and dynamic lighting. Bodycam's optics are now closer than ever to their real-world counterparts. Again, pushing the limits of how realistic a game can truly be.
And now, you're no longer stuck with random weapons. You can choose everything and create as many loadouts as you want. Each one built exactly for your own playstyle.
This update is also expanding Bodycam's arsenal, because alongside the new loadout system, we're introducing a wide range of new weapons. From the compact SG9X to the Viper. The R12 automatic shotgun, the Rivington 700 bolt-action sniper, the Draco, the CR75 pistol, and an expanded selection of grenade.
And it's not just about weapons. You also have gadgets, like RC cars. They're fast, small. Use them to scout, distract, send them straight into your enemies. And now, drones. But no, I'm not talking about arcadey drones you see in other FPS games. We wanted something real. So we built two ways to control them. A casual mode, it's simple, accessible, and very efficient for newer players. And then we also built an FPV mode based on real-world physics with real movement and real control. If you've never flown a drone before, you can now learn. But if you've already flown one in real life, you can do the same exact thing here. Same movement, same precision, same everything. If you're a real drone pilot, your team will need you on the battlefield, because now drones are unpredictable. They're fast, dodge, they dive to come straight at you. You're no longer fighting a system, you're fighting a real pilot with killer intent. But we know some players might think that drones are too fast, too small, and too hard to hit, but that's not the case. We built a very precise hitbox system, so they're actually very easy to destroy. One bullet, and it's gone. It all comes down to reaction time and who reacts first. And all of this happens inside of the game. No menus, we removed every single one of them. Everything is done directly on the tablet. You want to change your weapon and attachments? You open the tablet. You want to start a match? You open the tablet. Check the scoreboard? You open that sweet old tablet. Everything keeps happening around you in real time.
Alright, thanks for watching everyone. We hope you got a glimpse of our vision and the work behind it. This is just one part of the update, and next week I'll dive into our sound design. I'm talking about a full rework with gunshots.
Oh shit, I'm down. Oh yeah, bro.
Footsteps and overall ambiance improvements. We have rebuilt everything to match a real body cam and the things they see and hear around it. So there's a whole lot more coming, and I'll be right here to tell you all about it. And until then, see you on the battlefield.